All right. Thank you all for joining us for the spring community meeting for the Bladensburg Bus Garage Reconstruction Project. Next slide. This meeting will be recorded. And as we've done for most of our meetings, there will be periods after each section where you can ask Q&A. Feel free to type any questions in the chat at any time, or if you would prefer to ask those questions directly, simply raise your hand using the raise hand function during the Q&A. We will be sure to get questions answered in order, meaning whether you raised your hand or typed them in, we'll order answering them at that time. Next slide. Today's agenda, we'll go over introductions of the project team. Then you all will be provided with a project overview and updates, construction updates, and finally a look ahead for the remainder of the project. So with that, I will turn it over to Maya for introductions. Good evening, Maya.
Good evening, and thank you, Lenzel. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for this important community meeting. My name is Maya Nino, and I'm Metro's Director for the Bus Facilities Delivery. And I'm pleased to be here with you all at the Bladensburg Bus Garage Project Update. This meeting is an opportunity to engage with you, share updates, and hear directly from you about things that matter most. In addition to myself, I'm honored to introduce the Bladensburg team, starting with Mr. Sean Pratt, who is a PMCM project manager. Ms. Jamila Muhammad Ingram, she is the deputy PM for the PMCM team, and Mr. Dan Goucher, the general contractor project manager. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Jamila Muhammad Ingram for project overview and updates. Thank you.
Thanks, Maya, and good evening to everyone. I'm Jamila Muhammad Ingram. Thanks for joining. Our last meeting, it was held in March, where we provided a project overview, showed construction progress photos, and discussed the construction schedule. A recording of the meeting is available on the project website, along with questions and answers. Next slide, please. For those of you joining for the first time, I'll provide a project overview and a few updates for those who have been here before. The project includes a new maintenance facility and parking for 292 buses. The project also includes charging infrastructure and equipment to support battery electric bus and a parking structure for 420 employees. The project is being constructed in 3 phases. The first phase, shown in blue, consists of the replacement of the maintenance facility. This started in July 2021, and it's quite exciting that we are about 2 months away from completing this phase in July of this year. When we move to the second phase, shown in green, we'll focus on building the employee parking garage as well as some bus parking on ground level. This will take place from August 2025 to April 2027. And during the third phase in orange, we will complete the bus parking area. This takes place from May 2027 to January 2028. Next slide, please. We continue to maintain best practices for cleanliness and noise control at the construction site. This includes daily cleaning of work areas, waste receptacles and dumpsters stationed throughout the site, and tying down items to prevent flying debris during inclement weather. Also, the site contains Department of Energy and Environment approved water runoff controls. We still wash muddy construction vehicle wheels to help keep the streets clean and have access to the on-site street sweeper. We pick up trash weekly near the construction entrances as well. In regards to noise control, the typical weekday crew hours remain from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and we limit the hours of oversized load deliveries. Next slide, please. The project site, it's bound by 25th Place Northeast, Bladensburg Road Northeast, Douglas Street Northeast, and the railroad tracks. For construction traffic flow, Gates 1 on 25th Place Northeast serves as our primary construction entrance at this time, and Gate 4 serves as a secondary entrance. There's no gate in use along Bladensburg Road Northeast right now. And also in regard to parking, the areas designated for contractors' personal vehicles are along V Street Northeast, and there's limited contractor parking near the properties on 28th Street Northeast. Next slide, please. For permitting status, there are 3 recent updates highlighted below regarding the Douglas Street Northeast cul-de-sac closure. Legislation is under DC Council review. For DC Water, the Phase 2 and Phase 3 plans were approved. And for the Department of Buildings, updated parking garage plans were pre-screened and reviewers have been assigned. Next slide, please. And with that, I'll turn it over to Donzel for questions.
Thank you, Jamila. So if there are any questions regarding the project overview and updates, again, feel free to type those questions in the chat or raise your hand and we'll be sure to get that question answered. If you do not have a question during this section, or if you have a question that comes up about this section later, simply type it in the chat and we will be sure to get it answered. With that, we'll move on to the building feature review and construction updates. And I'll turn it over to Dan Gaucher. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening. Thank you, Donzel. It's a pleasure to be here as always. So next slide. So again, as Jamila pointed out, some great progress has been made. We are approximately 2 months away. We are pushing really hard to get all the finishes done. So here's a really good shot of the pedestrian bridge. I know we've kind of been tracking this through the last few community meetings. You can see ramp's done, the roof is on, terracotta is on the front face and the back face. And currently the roof is about 50% done. And you can, this kind of gives a good view too of what the site looks like. All of our paving is done and everything is pretty well cleaned up. So next slide. Again, kind of staying with the exterior here, you can kind of see that the exterior fence is up. We've planted all of the landscaping. We can kind of see the different angles. Right, that first picture is right at the corner of 25th and Bladensburg. The one in the middle, we're kind of standing on WMATA's property facing 25th Place, kind of looking towards Bladensburg, and then another good shot down 25th Place. So really what we have left here is to finish the sidewalk. We have to enlarge the sidewalk as part of the public space agreement. And it's kind of what that looks like on the 25th Place, that last picture. So next slide. Again, another cool shot inside the building. From the March community meeting, you can kind of see an empty room. Right now it's fully furnished. So again, this is the driver's lounge. You can see all of the furniture is in. Everything is pretty much final painted. We have gone through and done 2 punch list walks in this area. So again, getting really, really close to being done. Next slide. And again, just kind of showing some of the progress here. So this is on the other side of the driver's lounge. Is this kind of a eating area, break area? I think that's the term is the mini mart. So you can see on the left-hand side where we were when we last talked. And then here on the right side, we got all the appliances in. We got the countertops in. The sinks are in. Again, and kind of outside the frame there of the picture is the furniture. Next slide. I guess that's, I'll turn it back over to you, Donzo.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any questions with regards to the building feature review construction updates? Again, you can type your questions in the chat or raise your hand. All right, we have another Q&A in case we missed anyone, but with that, I see the Taj raised her hand. We can bring them off mute.
Yes, I just want to rewind because I want to make sure I was clear on the parking lot. You said that work will begin on the parking lot May of 2027 with the expected completion date January of 2028. I know I
Really
rewind
fun.
all
Can
the
you
way.
roll back a
Yeah,
slide?
can we go
I
back to
know
the
I
slide?
sent you all
Yeah.
the way back to the beginning of the presentation. I apologize. I just want
Worries.
No problem. Thank you for raising the question. We want to make sure we get the level of clarity that you're looking for. So I think Jamila or Sean, I see both of you came off mute.
Yeah, is this the slide you were referring to?
well, I was just actually going back to when you gave us the date of when the expected work is to really go into effect for the second phase of the parking lot. I think you said May 2027, because of course it won't be until after the building is demolished.
Right, right. So in
Um,
that first phase, the blue area,
mhm.
that's the building that Dan was talking about that's about to finish in July of this year.
Okay,
And
yes.
and the employee parking lot is in the green area. So
Okay,
once we get finished with the blue in July, we'll move over to the green area, and the current Wilmata employees will move out of the building that's currently there, move into the new building, and then in September of this year, we'll start work on that second phase, which is where the employee parking lot is, and we will be working there for approximately at least 2 years before that's complete. So it will be the employee parking for the bus drivers, and that it won't be complete until May until 2027.
And with that, Sean,
Does that answer your question?
I'm not sure, Natai, if we can make sure she can come off mute. There we go.
okay, yes, it does. So I just want to be clear because this parking lot is a big concern to the operators. So I definitely want to give them some good feedback from this meeting this evening because of the stress they go through where they're currently parking. So you said the expectation is, of course, we know we can't lock it in stone, but the new parking lot will be ready for them to actually use in 2027.
Yeah, that's the plan
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. And with that, I will turn it back over to Jamila for a look ahead on what to expect in the next quarter once we get there. There we go.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, Jamila.
Sounds good. Okay. Next slide, please. In the month of June, we plan to work on concrete sealant and caulking around the site, finishes in the maintenance building, commissioning for closeout, and some of the punch list items that Dan mentioned as we continue to work toward completion of phase 1 construction in July. As I mentioned last quarter, punch list items are minor corrections and fixes that need to be finished before the project is considered complete. In July, we will wrap up remaining commissioning items and complete our final punch list for construction phase 1. In August, WMATA will transition into the new facility, and the team will continue permits and utility outage coordination for phase 2 of construction. Next slide, please. Here are the major milestones we have in place for the project schedule. I'll highlight the main items, including completing the new maintenance facility in the third quarter of 2025, commencing demolition for phase 2 in the fourth quarter of 2025, completing the new parking garage in the second quarter of 2027, and overall project completion in the first quarter of 2028. Also, we'll be sure to update the community in future meetings regarding any changes due to battery electric bus. Next slide, please. For community engagement, the Metro Small Business Programs Office is collaborating with the Small Business Development Center to host a virtual event. The topic is Marketing and Branding 101. It takes place on May 20th, and registration information is at the link. With that, thanks for your time today, and I will turn it over to Maya.
Thank you, Jamila. For our final slide, we bring to the new community members' attention the project's website to sign up for newsletters and access project information and other updates. including this presentation. If you have any questions, our email address is bladensburgbusgarage@wmata.com. Please feel free to send us your comments and your feedback. And finally, as we get closer in time, we'll be announcing the next community meeting. Also, I encourage all of you to follow us at the various social media sites listed below to get updates on the projects and WMATA in general. With that, thank you for your time, and I'll turn it over to Denzel for Q&A.
Thank you, Maya. So it looks like there may be some operators from WMATA on the meeting that are asking questions specific to the functionality of the project itself. One of the questions, like you said, we've heard, when will the parking lot be available based on the concerns of the operators and where they currently park. Another question that we just received was around if will be an ability to bring personal items like microwave and other things into the location. Are you allowed to bring any of your personal office items like microwave, refrigerator, things of that nature? And Shatara and Natai, I'm not sure if this is the space for those questions. That would, for me, and Maya, please jump in, are more operational once the project is handed over. That would be answered, but I don't know if you can provide an answer to those types of questions now.
Yeah, I can't, but here's what I can offer. There is a biannual bus transportation meeting, internal meeting that's going to happen coming up in June, and we will make sure to address those questions and any questions, and I believe operators are invited to that meeting.
Thank you, Maya. So again, sorry we can't give you answers to once the building is delivered for operation, but if there are any other questions specific to the current status of the project, any questions around the project overview or updates, building features or construction, or any information of what to expect in the next quarter, we look forward to answering any of those. Okay, well, with that, thank you all so much for joining us for this quarterly update. Again, there is a summer update that will be occurring, and when that information is provided, you will be able to, sign up for that. I believe we have a brief survey evaluating the information that was provided. That information, that form will be placed in the chat for you to fill out. If you could please click on that once it's placed there. And with that, thank you all so much for joining us for this community meeting. This information, along with the answers to the questions in previous presentations, will be available on the website for your review at a later date. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your evening.